What if I told you that the entire modern idea of love wasn't built to connect you, but to control you? What if feminism, masculinity, relationships, attraction were all reprogrammed, not to free you, but to divide you? We didn't evolve into this chaos. We were led here, slowly, deliberately, and systematically. You were taught that love means weakness, that masculinity is toxic, that submission is slavery, that independence is identity. But what if all of it was a lie? If you stay with me, you'll see how media, culture, and silent conditioning rewired the very way you love, desire, and trust. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. You were never supposed to question it. The way relationships feel today, disposable, tense, transactional. You were told that's just how things are now. But look closer. In just 2 generations, love went from lifelong commitment to temporary compatibility, from us to me, from patience to performance. And that didn't happen by accident. In the 1960s, advertising agencies discovered something. Fear sells better than desire. So they stopped marketing happiness and started marketing empowerment through division. You weren't sold love. You were sold control, as long as it kept you alone. Suddenly, masculinity was dangerous. Femininity was weak. And love? Love became a power game. That was the first fracture. But here's the twist. The more they pushed independence, the lonelier we became. Because what they never told you is that connection isn't weakness, it's oxygen. When you were a child, they didn't teach you how to love. They taught you how to perform, be a strong woman, be a real man, hide your feelings, prove your worth, earn love, don't expect it. From cartoons to classrooms, you were conditioned to believe that connection was a transaction, that your value depended on how well you played your role. And then they sold you the fantasy that love would come naturally, once you were enough. But here's the shock no one prepares you for. The system needs you broken, because healed people don't buy solutions. So they taught women that needing a man was weakness, and they taught men that being needed was pressure. Result? She builds walls. He shuts down. And love dies before it even starts. Now look around. Millions of people scrolling, matching, ghosting, blocking, starving for connection, but terrified of intimacy. And still, we blame ourselves. We say, maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm not enough. But the truth is, maybe you were never the problem. Maybe the script was. If this video is making you think deeper, if it's helping you connect dots no one talks about, I'd be truly grateful if you subscribed. It helps me keep sharing the truths that often go unheard. Men and women were never enemies. They were mirrors, reflecting each other's wounds, hopes, and unmet needs. But when society reframed that mirror as a battlefield, everything changed. Masculinity was demonized. Femininity was weaponized. And love became collateral damage. You see it everywhere now. TikToks mocking men for showing emotion. Podcasts teaching women to never need a man. Dating advice that's more about leverage than love. But here's the gut punch. The more empowered we became, the less connected we felt. Because empowerment without empathy is just isolation dressed as strength. And somewhere between gender politics and personal branding, we stopped asking the most human question of all. What do I really want if no one's watching? That's silence. That's where truth lives. Your desires were never yours. They were fed to you, curated, branded, sold. Movies showed you what love should look like, not what it feels like. Music taught you to crave drama over depth. And algorithms? They didn't just suggest what to watch. They rewired what you want. This wasn't connection. It was conditioning. Because once corporations realized your loneliness was profitable, they stopped selling products and started selling personas. She was told that self-love meant chasing aesthetics, as long as it came with a discount code. He was told that masculinity meant being emotionless, until he collapsed in silence. But here's the most dangerous part. The more personal your identity felt, the more it was engineered. Because if they can design your desires, they can design your decisions. And if they can predict your pain, they can profit from your healing. So ask yourself, was that version of love you believed in ever yours to begin with? Or was it scripted, frame by frame, beat by beat, by people who never cared if you ended up alone? And if any part of this hit a nerve, if it made you pause, question, or feel something real, a like would mean a lot. You see, my friend, she was told to be powerful, but never soft. He was told to be stable, but never vulnerable. They both became actors in a play they never auditioned for, reading lines written by strangers who never cared if the story ended in love or loneliness. Behind every strong, independent woman is a girl who was told asking for help makes her weak. Behind every emotionless man is a boy who was punished every time he cried. So now they sit across from each other, on dates, in marriages, in silence, each one waiting for the other to make them feel safe, without ever saying it out loud. And here's the tragedy. They speak different languages, but cry in the same silence. And still, we wonder why it's not working. Still, we blame each other. Still, we fight, while the system watches and wins. Now tell me in the comments, do you think men and women are drifting apart because of who they are, or because of what they were taught to fear? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. You weren't born divided. You were born open, wired to connect, to feel, to trust. And then they gave you scripts, told you who to be, who to fear, and who to blame. But here's the quiet truth. Most of what you believe about the opposite sex didn't come from experience. It came from repetition. A bitter ex, a viral post, a bad headline, a broken parent. Little by little you collected pain that wasn't even yours and wore it like armor. Now, you're guarded, suspicious, tired, still wanting love, but afraid of needing it. But maybe, just maybe, it's not too late to rewrite the story. Not by going back, but maybe the first step is learning to question the voice in your head before you keep calling it your own. Maybe love didn't die. Maybe it's just buried under layers of pride, fear, noise, and noise pretending to be truth. And maybe the bravest thing you can do now is stop fighting the opposite sex and start listening to your own heart before someone else writes it for you. If this video resonated with you, if it stirred something real, a like, a share, or a subscribe would mean more than you think. Not just to me, but to the next person who needs to hear what no one's saying out loud. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think modern relationships are failing because people changed, or because they were taught to stop trying? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's talk. And if you're ready to go deeper, the next video explores what really happens when she leaves and realizes too late what she walked away from.